Hey everyone, today we're tackling a safety feature that surprisingly many Teslas are missing: blind spot monitoring. While newer Tesla models have a small indicator here, earlier models are left without an active blind spot monitoring system. In an earlier software update, Tesla might have brought in the blind spot indicator feature, but that's only active when you have the indicators turned on. And in this video, we're going to install and review a third-party solution from Tlyard that adds active blind spot monitoring system on older Teslas so we don't get new car envy. So here's the package from Tlyard. It's well presented. You can get this from the Tlyard website, links down below. Make sure to use my discount code upon checkout to get some exclusive deals. Inside the box, they provide you with a plastic pry tool. You'll also get a wiring harness to connect to the OBD port. And it looks like this is a partial pass-through configuration, meaning not all pins are available, which means if you have an existing aftermarket product already connected to the same OBD port, you will need to consider which one you connect first. However, if you look at the power connector, it looks like this is a full pass-through configuration, so that is good. Then we have the blind spot indicator lights themselves. And just to give you a quick measurement, the right side is 103 centimeters in length, while the left side is 223 centimeters. I happen to have the older version of this product, and judging by a quick visual check, their physical dimensions seem identical. However, the controller box is where it's drastically different. Apart from providing better functionality, I like how the newer version is smaller in all dimensions, making it easier to hide inside the trim. It actually can get really tight there, especially if you already have one or two aftermarket products already installed. But both controllers have a USB-C interface, so hopefully this is flashable, because we know in the past a Tesla software upgrade can easily break these OBD connected third-party devices. Let's go right ahead with the installation. Take note that the OBD port we need for this installation is on the right hand side, just next to the door hinge right here. If you have one of those 3D floor mats, remove them first so they don't get in the way when removing this plastic trim by the door sill. And if you have an instrument cluster like I do, it's also a good idea to move the steering wheel as far out as possible to make it easier to remove the dashboard trim later. Using the provided trim tool, carefully pop off the side panel. These are held by 3 clips located here. I like to insert the pry tool in this corner first, then twist to release the first clip, then insert the clip on top to remove the second clip, and lastly insert it here at the bottom to release that last clip. Then do the same thing for the other side. Next, we need to peel off this weather strip. This is just held by friction, and you can start by grabbing this portion and slowly pull that down. Continue peeling all the way until you reach the B-pillar trim, then set that to the side. And that will expose this plastic trim on the side, and removing this is simple. Just insert your pry tool here on top and twist to release that clip. Then pull it to the side and then upwards. Next, to remove this plastic trim by the door sill, start by removing this 2-stage clip. Then set that aside. Then grab it on this end, pull it straight up. This will release 2 clips on the end, but there are a few more clips lined up at the bottom, so just slowly work your way. When you reach this end, there is one metal clip located around here, and to remove this, I'd like to squeeze it here to bend the plastic a bit so you can pull it straight out of the hole and minimize the metal clip from scratching the paint around it. Then finally, use the plastic pry tool once again to remove the 2-stage clip that's holding this carpet trim. Once the panels are off, you'll see the OBD port, which is that blue plug right there. If you have an existing device connected like I do, we will need to figure out which plug goes in first. In my case, the plug I currently have here for my instrument cluster has fewer pass-through wires, so I need to unplug that so I can plug this blind spot monitoring system first. So it looks something like this. And then we insert the Tlyard connector into the blue OBD port. And then we'll get power from here, so let's disconnect this, and then we can daisy chain the Tlyard power adapter. And then might as well do a quick connectivity check. I've got two sets of blind spot monitors here. Next, let's remove the dashboard trim. By now you must have removed the two side plastic trims. So start by positioning your thumb here, then push the dashboard trim upwards until you hear the clips disengage. Then go over to the other side and do the same thing. This should release all the clips and you should see a big gap under the dashboard. Go right ahead and carefully pull it slightly towards you, then lift the front up. Careful not to scratch the back of the Tesla while you're doing this. Then set this aside. We can now start routing the wires. For me, the cleanest way to do this is to route it through the steering wheel column, then down through the side. And to do that, I'm just going to undo this two-stage clip here by lifting the locking pin in the middle, then pull the clip out, and that will loosen this leather shroud. Then I have this makeshift fishing line that I insert here. Then I tape up the USB-C plug on this end, then I pull it out on the other. Then from here, I proceed to measure how much slack I have in the wire because I don't want them to accumulate in this area because this is straight down your line of sight and you don't want to see any excess wire dangling around here. So I take the shorter wire and position the LED light up to the end of the dashboard and bend the wire up to the Velcro because this is where the wire will emerge. From here, I'll tape down the wires along this route and whatever slack I have, it'll just nicely tuck away back in the steering wheel column. Do the same process for the left-hand side wire, but the only difference is you tuck in the excess wires behind the Tesla screen. We're now ready to install the dashboard trim, but first I'm going to tape this LED lights onto the dashboard like this so it doesn't get in the way later. So first, let's reattach the clips holding this leather shroud. So just push the clip in and that is done. Then grab the dashboard trim and slide it in, making sure the sides are aligned. Then push that in as far as it will go. Then take a peek under the dashboard trim to make sure the clips are roughly lined up. Then push down all across the dashboard trim and you should hear all the clips engage. Next, let's install these blind spot indicators along the aircon vent. You'll notice that one side is lined with a rubber-like material, which suggests you install it with it facing down. But if you do that, it comes in at a steep angle, and if you insert it all the way in, it'll press on the dashboard and create an impression. So you can either leave it protruding out like this a bit, or you can turn it sideways and push it all the way in so it looks nice and flush. Now that looks good. It's now time to close up. First, let's connect this USB-C cable into the controller box. Then tuck this behind the carpet trim. And attach this two-stage clip to secure them all in place. Next, install this plastic trim by the door sill. I like to start from the left, pushing the clips and working my way through the right. Take note that on this end, there's a big locating pin which you need to insert in that big hole. Then make sure to press on this area so the plastic trim can go all the way through. This will make it easy to attach this metal clip without scratching your paintwork. Then grab the two-stage clip and push that in. Grab that small rectangular plastic trim to cover this up. Then reinstall this plastic trim to cover the sides. And lastly, install this weather strip. And we are done. And there it is. That looks nice. It doesn't take up too much space and it blends in okay with the Tesla interior. It's not perfect, but that will do considering the benefit it provides. But for now, let's take this for a spin and see how it works. Take note, I have installed the new and old models on the dashboard so I can compare them side by side. So here, the outer lights is the newer version. So when you get in the car, the newer version seemed to boot up faster than the old version. You can see as soon as I open the door, it lights up immediately. And I also noticed the new version cycles through the boot sequence every time I open the door. A new feature of the newer model is this door open indicator. And right now you can see the light flashing red, indicating that one of the doors on the same side is open. So for example, if someone opens the rear door, it'll also flash red. Neat trick for a blind spot monitoring system, but whether or not it's useful is debatable. In addition, it'll also not pick up cars that are stationary, for example, parked cars. It'll also ignore cars moving in the opposite direction, even though in both cases, these cars will pass through your blind spot. But that could be a Tesla software feature rather than a feature from this product. I'm not really sure. Comments down below if you know. When it does detect a car in your blind spot and you're driving over 10 kilometers per hour, you will see a solid amber light. And when you indicate to change lane and there's a car in your blind spot, the old model will stay amber, whereas the new model will flash red. And when the car is no longer in your blind spot, the old model will not illuminate at all, but the newer model will flash green. Let me know in the comments which blind spot programming you prefer. Which leads me to clarify that a flashing green light doesn't mean it's safe to change lane. In the product website, it clearly states it serves as your turn signal communicating your intentions to others on the road, which is weird because if I'm the driver of the other car who's even too far away to be in your blind spot, I will not see that small LED light on your dashboard. It just adds confusion, especially when you're parked on the side of the road and you want to merge into traffic. You can see as I make this maneuver, the LED light is flashing green, which is similar when the car is moving and the adjacent lane is clear and I have my turn signals on. I wish they disable this flashing green light feature because that will be confusing for some. And there you have it, the Tlyard blind spot monitoring system for the Tesla Model 3 or Model Y. To me, this is a must-have upgrade for older Tesla models because this enhances the safety feature of the car and make it at par with newer models so we don't feel left out and we don't get new car envy. However, I feel the placement of the lights is suboptimal because the lights are not very visible in broad daylight, probably because you're using your peripheral vision to look at it. What would be nice is if the light is mounted on the mirror itself so it's more in your direct line of sight. I wonder if there's a blind spot LED light out there that I can use in this instance. Link it in the comments if you have one that you can recommend. And that's all I have for you in this video. Thanks for watching. If you find this video helpful, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. That motivates me to create more content like this, and I appreciate you. And as always, affiliate links to all the products and tools I used here are all in the description box of the video, so go check them out. See you on the next one.